gosh. I cannot believe she just posted that picture on Facebook. Ew. I wonder what's going on in the Twitter sphere. Texas FFA convention, #limitless. I need to retweet that. Shout out to all them corduroy jackets on Instagram, straight flexing. Today, our world is full of messages. We turn on our TVs and see news of mass shootings, scroll through our news feeds to catch up on drama, and plug in our headphones so our mom won't hear the language coming from the songs we're listening to. We live in a world where things like the right clothes, most expensive car, and latest iPhone in our hand mean more to us than anything. I mean, seriously, have you ever forgotten your phone at home? Died during the middle of the day? You cannot doubt that this girl will do anything to turn around and go get it or to get my hands on a phone charger. There is so much complaining about the world around us, but have we ever really stopped and taken a good look at ourselves? I have, only to notice that our generation is part of the problem. We are too caught up in the messages we receive from the world around us and the materialistic objects that we possess. We need to be the generation that recognizes the wrongs in the world and fights to make them right. We need to quit listening to the complaints and cherish every opportunity given. And we have got to be the ones who choose to take a chance to make a change. We need to stand up, speak now, and reach out so that we can make a difference in the world. Friends, we need to be brave. It was my senior year of high school, just another typical day in the cafeteria, when I saw a mentally challenged student stacking up lunch trays and smiling as he happily took them to the trash can. I didn't think anything about this act at first. However, a few days later, I saw that same student scarfing down a wide mixture of cafeteria food while everyone around him laughed and coaxed him into finishing. When the boy was done, his peers stacked their lunch trays for the boy to go throw away. While it was clear that that boy needed attention, he didn't understand that those people were being mean and lazy. I knew this was wrong, but I couldn't make myself tell them to stop. This happened on a regular basis throughout my senior year, and I never did anything about it. One of my all-time favorite movies is Mean Girls. I could quote it all day. I could tell you all to wear pink on Wednesdays, that the limit does not exist, and that she doesn't even go here. I can assure you all that unlike Gretchen Wiener's, my hair is not big because it's full of secrets. Now, while there are a lot of reasons to laugh in that movie, there are also a few lessons that can be learned from it as well. One of those being there are two types of evil people in this world. Those who do evil things and those who watch evil things happen and do nothing about it. Looking back at my senior year, I realized that I was just as guilty as my peers. Our morals and values are tested every single day. We cannot just continue to sit back and allow things to happen. If you see someone being put down, stand up for them. If you believe in a cause, stand up for it. And if you see something wrong is happening, stand up to make it right. Not only do we need to learn to stand up for what we know is right, but we need to learn to speak now. If someone were to ask you to choose 3 objects that described you, what would they be? Mine would be hairspray because I'm sure, like many of the girls in this room, you believe the higher the hair, the closer to heaven. My FFA jacket because it reminds me that my real purpose in life is to serve others. And finally, a basketball. Looking back to my first year in junior high athletics, I now realize I probably wasn't the most athletic 7th grader. However, in a small town like mine, everyone tries every sport at least once. I decided to sign up for basketball and soon fell in love with the game. Now, junior high wasn't exactly the easiest time in my life. Trying to figure out who I was going to be and where I was going to fit in was challenging. In fact, I soon began to feel like I didn't fit in at all. When I wore my boots to school, I received funny looks. And if I missed cheer practice to go to a livestock show, I was ignored. But in the gym, I always felt like I had a place. My coach soon became my mentor and would give me advice about anything I needed. When I was struggling to find my priorities between sports and agriculture, he told me to do what made me happy and not to worry about what others thought. Before you know it, 4 years had rolled around and my coach finally landed his dream job as head coach for the varsity Lady Rams basketball team. And with that, I just knew I was going to be on varsity as a sophomore. I had been in the gym all summer and I thought I had become quite the baller. However, whenever playing time rolled around, I still hadn't moved up. My coach kept saying, "Kid, I know you're working hard," but I continued to play on JV. I started getting angry with my coach and quit going to the gym for our daily talks. When I passed him in the halls, I ignored him. The last memory that I have with my coach is an argument that occurred in his office. A pointless argument, but it's one that I will never forget. I woke up the next morning to find out that my coach had passed away in a car wreck early that morning. The hardest thing I have ever had to do was sit front row at my coach's funeral. Sitting there, I couldn't help but blame myself for his death. Why hadn't I just said what was on my mind? Instead, I had purposely cut myself off and refused to talk to him. And now, I would never get the chance to tell my coach that I was sorry. Texas FFA, whether you are fighting with your siblings, arguing with your peers, or just holding something in that you need to say, remember that you may not always get the chance to tell someone how much they mean to you. Every time I pick up a basketball, I am reminded that we are not guaranteed tomorrow. So in everything you do, cherish the moments that you have with those around you, and remember to speak now, because you may not always get the opportunity to do so again. In fact, in life, nothing is guaranteed, so why aren't we taking every opportunity given to us? Most of the time, the things that are holding us back from taking opportunities are fears. For as long as I can remember, I have been afraid of heights. Clear glass elevators, climbing up a ladder, even standing on a chair to change a light bulb. But this summer, my fear was put to the ultimate test. Every member of our state officer team had to complete a challenge on the high ropes course. Our element was called the Big Gulp, the tallest and wildest element at Mo Ranch. The participant climbs up a ladder where they are connected to a cable. Their teammates then hoist them 50 feet in the air. The participant lets go of a rope and goes swinging back and forth like a giant swing set. As my teammates began going, I soon became very weak in the knees. The next thing you knew, I was pale as a ghost and tears were running down my face. Scared would not be the word to describe how I felt. Terrified was more like it. But before you know it, I was hooked up and left dangling in the air for what felt like hours. My teammates began pulling and up I went, kicking, screaming, and crying until a little less than 20 feet in the air, I let go of the rope and went swinging back and forth, begging to be let down the entire time. Once my feet were planted firmly on the ground, our instructor asked if anyone wanted to go one more time. And this is when I did something that surprised even me. The second time looked a little something like this.
Why do I need a pull?
Say hey, Jodi. Hi. Here she goes, 50 feet in the air for the second time.
Go, Maddie! I'm gonna trip on you.
That's why I can't really. Let go, babe. Woo!
I think she
That
cursed.
was so much more epic!
It was my first week of travel back home in good old Area 9. Blake, Tyler, and I pulled up to our final school of the day where we headed into the ag shop and met a student who informed us he was going to give us a tour of the school before our presentation. As we wandered through the halls, we found our way into the athletic department. This student wanted to show his coaches just why he had been missing so much football practice. As introductions were occurring, a man shook my hand and asked where I was from. Jodi Cockrell, nice to meet you. I'm from a little town called Joaquin. It's about 45 minutes from Nacogdoches, an hour from... Whoa, the man stopped me. You don't need to explain where you're from. I know exactly where Joaquin's at. You do? I said in complete shock. I do. Actually, I used to have a really good friend who coached there. It's a real sad thing. I didn't even know about his funeral. The guy used to send me Christmas cards every year. My heart sank into my chest. Sir, would you be talking about Scott Owens? That's him, the man replied. Real good guy, really cared about his students and would do anything for anyone. Almost 3 years after my coach's passing, I met someone who lived hundreds of miles away that my coach had reached out to. Right then, in that very moment, I realized that I needed to start reaching out to others the way my coach had always done. This past summer, I got a second chance to see just how epic the Big Gulp could be. But as I said earlier, a second chance isn't always guaranteed. We have 86,400 seconds a day to reach out and make a difference in the lives of those around us. Imagine how much more epic life could be if we chose to reach out one time every day. Something as simple as sending a Christmas card, giving a smile while passing someone in the hallway, paying for the people behind you in the drive-thru, or even just making a positive comment on someone's Facebook post. Take the opportunity to spread a little kindness, and you might just inspire someone else to do the same. Texas FFA, we cannot just sit back and allow things to continue in the direction they are going. We have got to stand up for what we know is right. We have got to quit listening to the complaints around us and cherish every opportunity given. And we have got to be the ones who reach out and make a difference in the lives of those around us. Then and only then can we ever expect the world to change. We have got to stand up, speak now, and reach out. Texas FFA, let's be brave.